Welcome everybody again as we allow our last participants to join us. We're in conversation today with Krishnie Naicker, and I'm going to hand over to Melissa to introduce Krishnie to our conversation today. Melissa.
Thank you, Krishnie. So good morning, everybody. A warm welcome from the UK here. So each whole one is international, we can finally say. I'm only an hour behind, but I still get very confused. So good morning. And just for the purposes of us recording as well, we will share the session with you all after today. So if there's anything that you want to pick up on or have a look at the chat or anything that we share, then you will get a copy of our session today. So today we have a very special guest joining us, Krishnie Naicker. I don't know for those of you who know her or don't know Krishnie. So Krishnie is joining us today to talk about navigating through uncertainty, and I think that's very relevant today, especially with everything that we are going through in all these uncertain times. Just a little bit about Krishnie. So Krishnie actually lost her eyesight, or well, is partially sighted from the age of 10, and Krishnie still attended mainstream school. That didn't stop her at all. She studied IT and went off into that world, and now has changed direction, and I'll let her do a little bit more talking on that, but she's now into or assisting with and working in intuitive healing. So today is going to be a very exciting conversation. I know that you guys are going to get so much from this. Me having just spoken to her for a short while, I'm very excited. So I'm going to hand you over to our dear Krishnie. So welcome, Krishnie.
Hi, Melissa. Hi, ladies. So I'm not going to talk about myself because I just think I want to hear from the ladies that are on the platform, and I want to hear what they have to say. But more importantly, I want to share the knowledge I have so that they can hopefully empower themselves, going through what we are going through to be better and stronger. I think if we can get into the slideshow, and then I want to hear what the ladies have to say. I want to hear what they're feeling right now and where they are. And then we can go from there and try and provide as much assistance as we can to those that need it. If that is okay with everybody, we can move forward.
Perfect.
All right, great. Okay, Krishnie, you're going to do slideshow.
I am.
Okay, so can share. All right, the topic is navigating the unknown. So right now there's nothing that we know. Everything we used to know has flown out the window, so we don't know anything, and if we go on to slide 2, let's just look at the definitions of navigating and the unknown. So to navigate means to plot or chart a course that uses certain tools and certain techniques. So obviously, if you're navigating something, you need to know where you're going. When you go to Durban, you need to know, okay, I'm going to Suncoast, or I'm going to Pavilion, or what your destination is. There has to be a destination, and you must also have an idea. Where am I leaving? Where am I going from? And where am I going to arrive at? And at the moment, we don't have any of those informations. What we have is where we are. That's it. Just today. Tomorrow can bring a whole new challenge, a whole new set of ideas, a new set of rules, and we don't know what that is. And that brings us to the unknown. So unknown means to be undisclosed, unfamiliar. So if I say, how do you go from here to 2022? None of us are aware of that. We don't know. We don't know how we're going to get there, let alone how tomorrow or next week mean, yesterday the president addressed the nation and he says this schools are closed for the next month. So 2 weeks ago, we were sending our kids to school. Tomorrow, we're not sending our kids to school anymore. So the path ahead is very unfamiliar. It's very unknown. We have no clue what the next week will bring. So the questions that I have led or want you to think about is, firstly, how do we navigate the unfamiliar, the unknown? What are the tools we need to use to get to where we're going? And the second question is, why do we feel so unsettled when we don't have the right information? If we don't know something, why do we feel so unsettled? Why is there so much of discord within ourselves when we don't know what's ahead of us? So those are the two questions. During this conversation, I want you to think about how and why. How do we feel? How do we navigate? And second, why do we feel so uncertain? Okay, next slide. The human being is composed of two main parts. Our spirit, so it's our essence, who we are, the soul, the atma, the chi, the thing that gives the body its life. And then it's matter. Matter is made up of the body, the mind, the intellect. So I'm not going to speak too much of the body because that is it's basic biology, and I'm not going to speak about the intellect because we could sit here for the next 3 years and I wouldn't touch that part. So I'm going to discuss the mind. Okay, our next slide. So our mind is made up of a few things, right? It's our likes, our dislikes, our intelligence, our emotions, our desire. Those are the key elements of our mind. So I'm going to give you a basic example to help you. Intelligence is the knowledge we can get from books. So when we study at school or university, we acquire intelligence. Our thoughts, which is an integral part of the mind, is a concept, an idea that formulates when we see and experience something. So if you at work, or if you are at home and you're thinking, gosh, I'm working so hard, so much of me is being put through this time. I'm working 10-hour days, I still have children to look after, or I have a partner, or I have a house. These are compounding thoughts, so they start to grow and fester. You can also think about positive things, such as I would like to have a real piece of chocolate cake today. I just want a piece of chocolate cake. So these thoughts can either be good, bad, and those thoughts lead us to either likes or dislikes and desires. So if for example, let's focus on our chocolate cake. If we want a piece of chocolate cake and we don't have that available, then firstly, the thought is spurred on by our like. I like chocolate cake, so I want this chocolate cake, right? But it's going to make me feel better because I'm just having such a difficult day. And that like spurs that thought. Then the desire formulates. So you sit down and you think, I really want this chocolate cake. I really want it. If I have this, I'm going to feel so much better. I'm going to be able to cope with what's ahead of me today. And then your emotions get involved. So you either feel happy or unhappy about what is happening with this chocolate cake. So, you think, I need this chocolate cake, but I can't go out there. I can't go to Woolies. I can't grab this slice that I want, or I can't go to the local bakery. And then you start feeling miserable about the fact that you can't get this chocolate cake. But 5 minutes prior to this, you still didn't have this chocolate cake. And you went so miserable. But your mind has ran an entire circle around a piece of chocolate cake, and now you are miserable because you don't have it, or you're unhappy. So this is the power of the mind. This is how our mind works. It manages to convince us that we need to do something, or we need to have something, or there is a need. But actually, there is no need, it's a want. A lot of us focus on how we can move from point A to point B based on wants, desires, not necessarily needs. A huge part of our lives is determined by our likes and dislikes. For example, if you don't like a certain mall, you just won't go there. You won't go there because it's too busy. It's too noisy. It's in a criminal area. What. So if you're in that space where your discipline or your action is determined by your dislikes, it affects a lot of our lives. It affects a huge part of where we are and how we behave. But in essence, this is the power of the mind. It can make us happy, it can make us sad, it can make us fearful, and this is where we are. Okay, the next slide, please. I'm going to focus, stemming from the mind, I'm going to focus on emotions. So this is the core part of what I want to address today. From my conversations with people, I'm finding more and more people have these few emotions that are really manifesting itself. So depression, firstly, with depression, we must understand depression. It's not sadness. It's not a feeling of being down. It's not a feeling of melancholy. It is actually a black abyss that surrounds us. We feel hopeless. We feel despair. We feel disabled. Great feeling of apathy. There's absolutely nothing you feel except this isolated feeling of darkness. So when we at this point, okay, to recover from depression, you need a holistic approach. You do need to go through a spiritual process. You need to go through relationship processing. You need to change your diet. You need to improve your exercise. But we can't stem out of the sense of darkness and foreboding unless we get some medical help. The one thing to please understand, there is no shame, there's no disgrace, there's no hurt in asking for help. The actual shame comes when you don't ask for help. When you are left to your own devices and you think, I can cope and I don't need somebody to help me. Please, if there's one thing you take away from today's session, ask for help. It is necessary. In this time, it's necessary to get help. Okay, the next one is frustration. A lot of us are so frustrated. We have to clean our houses, we have to do work, we have to see to so many things. If you're looking after parents, or if you're looking after a spouse, or if you're looking after anybody, even just your job, it's difficult. We are frustrated. We are homebound. We are working extended hours. I mean, I know people who are now working 14 hours when they were working 7 hours previously. So the frustration does build up. We do get frustrated, we do get angry, we do get irritated, but the frustration of being at home, being in the situation, it's paramount now. It's becoming an overwhelming sense of frustration. So the thing that you need to understand is, if you schedule your day, if you get a routine going, then you know what's coming next. And you don't have to be frustrated because you're more planned, you're more focused, you're more driven to complete task A, B, C, D. It's not always practical, and sometimes you have to shift your thinking to slot in a task here and slot in a task there. But overall, it will help with dealing with your frustrations. Okay, anger. A lot of us are angry at poor old COVID. It showed up uninvited. It's ruined what we know as our day-to-day lives. It's made us sit in our houses for extended periods, and now we are stuck at home. So taking this into consideration, we have to resolve our anger. We can't sit with this anger and sit with the virus. What we can control, we control. What we can't, we can't. We can't control COVID. We can control our behavior around COVID. We can wear our masks, we can sanitize our homes, we can sanitize our hands, we can do the regular washing, we can drink our hot waters, but we can do what we can do. The rest is beyond us. We can't be angry at the virus, we can't be angry at a situation, we can't be angry at our bosses because they are exploiting us. none of these external things we can be angry about. We need to manage ourselves. We need to create an environment that we are happy to be in. If you're not happy to be in this environment, then own that. Take that energy of anger and change what you're not happy about. There's help for all of these things. We need to change how we're sitting at home with this energy. We need to make our homes a place of sanctity, a place of serenity, where we can be happy.